Welcome to Better Safe Than Sorry. Better Safe Than Sorry is a podcast where we explore the topic of safe sex and discuss its significance, issues, and helpful suggestions for a healthy and joyful sexual encounter. I am your host, Ingrid Santiago, and I am very delighted to have you here with us today.
In today's podcast episode, we will embark on a journey through the various aspects of safe sex with our guest, Nicole Francisco. So, Nicole has been a friend of mine since my last year of junior high school. To be exact, we have been mutual friends for nearly 4 long but fantastic years. So, we will discuss everything there is to know about safe sexual intercourse, including the importance of sexual health education, exploring different contraceptive methods, preventing sexually transmitted infections, and promoting overall sexual well-being. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Nicole. So
Yeah.
welcome to today's podcast, Nicole. I am very happy to have you here. Make yourself comfortable as this will be a bumpy adventure.
Thank you for the invite, Ingrid. I'm glad to be a part of your podcast. So, where should we start?
So I am very sure that you are aware that this podcast series advocates the idea of safe sex. So to start, I would like to know your viewpoint on sex education.
That's interesting. I think we're on to a great start. If I were to think of sex ed, the first thought that comes to my mind is that it benefits our society, specifically teenagers. Because obtaining sex education allows individuals to receive sufficient information about sex and raises awareness about building proper social and sexual interactions.
So I do agree with your statement that it is very informative in terms of educating the youth about what they need to know about sex and of course about their bodies. But additionally, I would like to know your opinion about how sex education is perceived in the Philippines. Do you think that sex education is accepted here, knowing that we live in a religious and conservative country?
Um, I don't think that sex ed is very prevalent in our country, and many are still opposing it. Like what you said, we live in a conservative and religious country where people still live by their traditions and values. An example of this is us, because we grew up going to Catholic schools and we live in a household where people are very traditional. We were neither informed nor educated about sex ed, or it was very limited. This results in us learning these things on our own or through our peers.
Yes, I like what you mentioned that this results in learning things on our own, which I think is the danger of not having sex ed. Since it was like not provided or very limited, we tend to explore things on our own with us not knowing the dangers of it or us being unsure of what we are doing. So the outcome of this is, I think, the prevalent issues like unintended pregnancies, which are the result of people being uninformed about the different contraceptives they can use, like condoms and pills while engaging in sex.
I definitely agree with what you said. So, the beliefs and principles embedded in our minds are the primary reason why we have inadequate awareness concerning safe sex.
So, as previously mentioned, you have already stated the presence of traditions, beliefs, and values. So, how do you think society, or specifically your family, influenced your idea of sex?
Discussing sex, in my experience, is not common. So, in our household, sex is viewed as a sensitive topic. That is why it is very difficult for me to engage in conversation about sex and satisfy my curiosity. As a result of this, I had little awareness of the proper method to engage in sexual intercourse. So, I believe that sex discussion is still stigmatized in certain Filipino households.
Also, comparing your experience to my experience, I do believe that my family is more open-minded than I might think, since they are willing to engage in sex talk and such. However, like I had this experience where I overheard a person in like their 70s who expressed doubt about sex because they believe that it is solely focused on sex, or it promotes sex among youth? What are your thoughts about that?
So I also wanted to address this because I have noticed that misconceptions concerning sex education are widespread in our culture. However, sex education is more than just the notion of having sex. Rather, it plays a crucial role in increasing awareness about overall sexual well-being. With the help of sex education, we are able to gain adequate knowledge on responsible sexual intercourse. Moreover, let us not forget about the impact of sex education on reducing teen pregnancy rates and STIs. Comprehensive sex education provides accurate information about contraception methods, safe sex practices, and the prevention of sexually transmitted infections.
Yes, I do agree. So, I think we can all agree that because of sex education, we have gained knowledge about numerous forms of contraceptions, such as condoms and pills. So, that equips individuals with the tools to protect themselves and their partners against unintended pregnancies and STIs. However, I would like to put a disclaimer that pills come with an advisory that it is best to consult with a medical professional before using them, because they can have a number of adverse effects. So we may delay sexual initiation through sex education, and it also assists young people in making the best choices for themselves when it comes to sex and relationships.
That's a great point. Another advantage of sex education is that it encourages open and honest discussion of sexuality and relationships. It provides a safe environment for individuals to ask concerns, seek help, and resolve issues. So, education breaks down barriers and removes the stigma surrounding these topics by fostering conversations. Consequently, this creates an environment in which individuals feel more at ease, seeking help and addressing their concerns regarding sexual health.
So, sex education is without a doubt an investment in the well being of people and society as a whole. It offers broad advantages for everyone as it imparts knowledge, promotes healthy views and conduct, and empowers individuals to make informed choices.
Indeed, we must continue to advocate for comprehensive and accessible sex education to guarantee that all individuals have access to the information they require to live healthily and fulfilling lives.
Very well said. So, thank you for joining us today as we discussed sex education. Remember that knowledge is power, and remaining informed about sexual health is important. And that brings us to the end of today's podcast episode of Better Safe Than Sorry. We hope you found it informative. Stay tuned for future episodes in which we will delve into significant problems that impact our perspective of society. Thank you.